Okay, just from our perspective, we knew we were facing an extremely tough opponent tonight. They're ranked 15th in the nation going into the game. We were shorthanded with some of our players, key players out, the offensive line, receiver, and linebacker. So we knew we were up against a tough opponent. But the one thing we wanted to go into this game is to compete. You never know what's going to happen, and there was a couple of opportunities there for us to we had the lead briefly and gave up the kickoff return. I mean, the game turned on a handful of plays, a turnover, a muff punt. But you take, again, you can say this a lot of times, but we truly competed hard. I'm very proud of our kids the way they played. They were competitive for 4 quarters against a good football team, and we moved the football offensively. We had some very good stops on defense, and so we got some things to build on. Some things to work on, but some things to build on.
That might have been Schultz's best game as a quarterback here.
It was a great game. He played a very good game, and still there's room for improvement. There's some things we could have done a little differently in meshing with some of the routes, but overall he played very well.
Mike, you ran the ball pretty well. You caught a lot of passes today as well. How would you rate your performance today?
It was okay. The only reason why I say that is because of fumble and a couple of blocking assignments. I mean, there's always room for improvement, and that's what we're going to do here. Just improve and go on to the next game, and we'll get that W.
Interception was a key to get the ball rolling on offense. How'd that feel?
It was like a big, momentum shift, And when I caught it, I really didn't know what to do with it because, defensive linemen usually don't get interceptions. So, I tried my best to get a few yards, but, got the game going, what I mean?
Offense, did play, but your defense, you guys played pretty well overall against a really talented offense.
Yes, all week we've been talking about if you just do your position, do your job, everything will just click, And, we did have some upsets, but, there's always still room for improvement.
But there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to score a lot more points than that.
Yes.
That they're against for them. And the same thing on offense. There aren't going to be too many teams, I think, that scored 27 against them.
Right. And, we work together as a unit, and, with 2 starters out, the sky's the limit for us. Every week we just get better and better.
How's it been since you got here?
It feels great to play football again. So,
Coach, what you think of the protection? It seemed like Kyle had a lot of time to throw back there.
Yeah, he did. The offensive line did a nice job. There were some missed assignments where we turned some guys loose on blitzes at times, but Kyle did a great job of improvising with his feet and making some plays. So he did. In fact, I don't know, was he sacked?
No.
Okay,
No.
yeah. So, and that's partly, I'd say it's about 75% very good protection and about 25% Kyle doing something with his feet.
You turned a quarterback into a tight end. He had a good game today, too.
Yes, he did. Yeah, there's some things that we're trying to do that it was very gratifying to see them come to fruition against a good football team. And that will, as long as we keep improving, because, we can't get stagnant, as long as we keep improving, that's going to really bode well for us as we move along.
Like, how tough was it to play in that heat?
it wasn't bad. It was, you condition for it, you get ready for it. Doesn't matter what anybody says. Football shape it's a bit different from conditioning tape. So it felt good to finally get out there and be really tired and see what you have to improve on.
What made your decision to come here?
I just thought it was an opportunity for me. It was the best opportunity. I love the coach staff. I love Coach Mitz, Coach Coop. We got a lot of knowledge, and then it's just fun to be around people who want to get better.
What was the toughest thing about preparing for their offense?
Really, their O-line is very physical. They can move. So really just, trying to stay low and control that O-line, that's probably the most difficult thing.
What was the best thing about today, Coach?
Kids competed. I saw something in Thursday's practice. I saw, it's almost like light bulbs went off in Thursday's practice. It was, I'm just shaking my head. Oh. And I had a feeling our kids would play well tonight and they'd compete. And, we lost by 3 touchdowns, but I think the game was a little closer than that, at least. And I feel that very strongly, and our kids competed. Our kids did compete. It's something to build on. And, you never want to go into a game believing that you can't win. And you never want to go into a game believing you can't lose either. So we have to be very, very careful that we don't say, hey, we just competed with Wheaton, got 27 points on Wheaton. We got to be careful. We saw what happened last year. So we have to learn some lessons from that. So we have to keep improving, keep getting better, keep challenging each other. And coaching staff has to continue to challenge these guys because there's some talent there. There's some good kids. They come together as a team and just competing. Getting the opportunity to compete was the best thing tonight.
Nice job, guys.